And are you Stephen Allen Dixon?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And counsel, the coordinator asked if you had filed your notice of retained counsel. When did you find it? Sal, I'm sorry, when did you file it?
I believe it was yesterday, Your Honor.
All right. And Mr. Dixon, this is your attorney?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Mr. Dixon, I'm showing you what's entitled motion to revoke community supervision. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you the same Stephen Allen Dixon who was placed on community supervision in 2022 CR 6340B for the offense of possession of a controlled substance, penalty group 1 less than 1 gram, on September 29, 2022 for a term of 4 years? Is that you?
I'd like to think I'm a better guy, but yeah, that's me. Yes, it is.
All right, I just need you to answer the questions. All right, now is not the time for you to ingratiate yourself. I just need you to answer these questions. So is that you?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, state.
Violated condition number 4 in Bexar County, Texas. The defendant Stephen Allen Dixon, who then and there failed to report to the supervision officer as directed for the months of October 2022, November 2022, and December 2022 in violation of condition number 4.
How do you plead to that? True or not true?
I think that's the only violation.
Yes. Did you understand by pleading true to violation of condition number 4, the court could find it true, grant the motion, sentence you to 16 months in the state jail facility and a $1,200 fine? Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Knowing that, do you still wish to plead true to violation of condition number 4?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find violation condition number 4 true. Is there an agreement?
Yes, Your Honor. It's for the defendant to remain in the Bexar County Jail for a drug court evaluation and a TAP evaluation and to follow all the recommendations.
All right, so here's the court's issue. And maybe someone can address this with me. When I placed him on probation in September, I had already ordered a drug court evaluation. And according to this, he's been missing, didn't show up. So number one, well, the other number one, there's no room for him at felony drug court because they're full. So why shouldn't he go to the state jail facility? Because the easiest thing to do is to report, and he did not.
Your Honor, my client has indicated that he made attempts to report. He got onto Zoom with his boss. He currently is gainfully employed, and they were unable to connect via Zoom. My client indicates that he did go to an in-person, and the door was locked. I spoke with the state, and we've come to the understanding that maybe he should have come here if he was unable.
Well, no, I mean, he's been missing since October of 2022. So that's October, he didn't report. November, he didn't report. December, he didn't report. January, he didn't report. February, he didn't report. March, he didn't report. April, he didn't report. May, he didn't report. June, he didn't report. And here we are in July. And I believe the only reason he's here before me is because he was arrested. Did he get arrested reporting? Or did somebody find him on the warrant and bring him in?
I believe it was found on the warrant.
So felony drug court is not available for him. Why shouldn't he be revoked? He didn't report. That's it. That's the easiest thing to do, is to report.
Your Honor, you had told me.
You want to raise your right hand?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you solemnly swear affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God? You can lower your hand, state your name for the record.
My name is Stephen Dixon.
All right. Do you wish for your client to speak?
Really want to speak? It's from what I got.
Go ahead.
The last time I was in here, I took your words to heed. You told me that I was getting old and there was never going to be a time for me to turn around if I didn't turn around. I had cut a lot of needless people out of my life, and I did that. I moved from the apartment I was just because there were drugs in that neighborhood. I moved to an apartment closer to my job. I cut all the people out of my life. I quit heroin on my own. I see my son for 2 weeks. I haven't seen my son in over 10 years, but he knew I was sober. I'm trying, man.
But the question is, why didn't you report?
I
That's
got
the
so
easiest
lost
thing.
in the whole mix of everything. You know, I work 80 something hours a week. I work 82 hours a week.
Oh, so you can't, here's the
And I
thing,
tried hard at first.
but let me just tell you this. Guess what?
It's my
When
fault.
people who are on probation
It's my-
say, oh, I've got my life together, you still have to report. Otherwise, you're not on probation. Otherwise, it would be easy for everybody to do on probation. Let me take your probation, judge. I know I'm supposed to report to probation, but you know what? I'm living my life doing my own thing. I'm just not going to pick up any criminal cases. So I don't know what you all want me to do. Felony drug court is not available for him because they have no room for him at felony drug court. So either way, you're going into custody. If I decide to put you in inpatient treatment, you're going in custody. You're going to wait for a bed at the jail because felony drug court is not available for you. Probation?
Your Honor, felony, as you stated a couple of times, I do know that felony drug court is at capacity. We would like to do the tap in custody to see which facility will be best suited for him and for him to sign his original conditions of probation.
Okay. And I understand that's what probation wants, but I don't understand why he should not be revoked. And what's up with, is that a Spurs tattoo?
No,
Okay. You shouldn't hide it if it's not a Spurs tattoo because that makes me think things.
no.
Okay.
I'm originally from Oklahoma, man.
All right. So why shouldn't I send him to the state jail facility?
Your Honor,
And I know everybody is saying he didn't have a chance, but he didn't have a chance because he didn't report.
Your Honor, if we could give him, and I know this is an old way of saying it, is another chance. So that way, and I would be there along the way to make sure that he reports, to make sure that he does what he needs to do.
Probation.
Your Honor, I agree that Mr. Dixon had ample time to report. He knows, I mean, he was granted back in September. He could have come to the court at any time and you know that we would have taken care of him. I'm not quite sure what the issues are, or drug issues or so forth. Look at his previous criminal history, I know there needs to be an issue.
And see, my problem is he has done absolutely nothing. Zero. And if he would not have been arrested, he would still be out there not reporting. All right, is there anything else from anyone?
Your Honor, my client is willing to submit to hair follicle testing right now to show that he hasn't been using UA right now to show he hasn't been using. He's willing to do that and to demonstrate that he is trying to stay on at least that part of the line. Again, as I indicated, I would be his retained counsel to tell him, you know, and guide him through the process of reporting.
All right, my problem is, again, he has done nothing and there's no excuse for not doing anything.
I understand, Your Honor.
All right, this is what the court is going to do. Court is going to grant the motion, sentence you to 6 months in the state jail facility, give you credit for any time served. I'll suggest the therapeutic community. There's a $1,200 fine. Time and money will run concurrent. I'm going to show you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendants' Rights to Appeal. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes.
All right, you have a limited right to appeal, and that is as it relates to the allegation in the motion, not the fact that you were on probation. We can go off the record. Mr. Dixon,
Yes, ma'am.
I understand what you're saying. However, the easiest thing to do on probation is report. Whether I would have sentenced you or not, you were still going to be in custody. Once you go to the state jail facility, I suggest you ask them to place you in the therapeutic community. And when you are released from the state jail facility, do better. All right, thank you. And are you Kenneth Kim?
Yes, ma'am.
Showing you what's entitled motion to enter adjudication of guilt and revoke community supervision. And first amendment motion to enter adjudication of guilt and revoke community supervision. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Are you the same Kenneth Kim who was placed on deferred adjudication in 2021 CR 11285 for the offense of possession of a controlled substance, penalty group 1 gram to 4 grams on February 22nd, 2022 for a period of 4 years? Is that you?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, state.
Violated condition number 1, on or about the 17th day of May 2023 in Bexar County, Texas. The defendant, Kenneth Kim, committed the offense of evading arrest or detention in violation of condition number 1.
How do you plead to that? True or not true?
True.
And Your Honor, we waive and abandon the other violations.
No objection.
Did you understand by pleading true to violation of condition number 1, the court could find it true, grant the motion, find you guilty, and sentence you up to 10 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine?
Yes, ma'am.
Knowing that, do you still wish to plead true to violation of condition number 1?
Yes, I do.
Court will find violation of condition number 1 true. Is there an agreement?
Yes, sir. Yes, Your Honor. We're asking the court to deny the motion and to follow probation's recommendation of the cognitive track local ISF followed by ISP supervision.
That's our understanding, Your Honor.
All right, what has he done on probation?
Yeah.
You want to raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear, affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you can lower your hand. State your name for the record.
Stan Kim.
All right. And what have you done since you've been on probation?
I've gotten a job immediately. I've been reporting until I paid the fines.
Wait a minute, let's backtrack. You said you've been reporting until you didn't?
Well, until the violation, a couple of months.
Okay,
I was paying the fines the best I could, and to be honest, Your Honor, I'm not gonna lie to you, the things stressed me out, build up on me. I know it's not an excuse. I had fighting with my baby mother, with my kids.
you mean the mother of your child?
Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry. And being in trouble and being separated from them because I used to live with them prior to the jailing and before I got out. She had found someone else and kicked me out, and it was really hard for me to maintain a place to have stability. And I was just trying to focus on that more than keeping my job and paying the bills or the fines. And I had no phone, and I was just letting things pile up and stress me out. And it got the best of me. And I know it's not an excuse, and I'm sorry, Your Honor.
Your Honor, he has twins and he has assured me that he does want to get employment and get back out in life. He's 32 years old. And he's got a twin boy and girl, 5 years old. And we're asking that we continue with this intensive supervisory. And I think he's going to quit the drugs completely and turn his life around, if given the chance.
Probation?
Your Honor, the last report of direct contact was 12/20/2022. There was a telephone call or a voicemail received from the probationer on 1/9/23, stating that he was still working on registering for his BIPP and would call Fort Sam Cemetery in regards to his community service hours. The BIPP course at this time has not been completed, and his community service hours has not been completed. He did pay a total of $300 toward his assessed fines of $3,276, and is currently behind $925. He failed to submit the required UAs in August, September, and December of 2022.
All right, it appears you've done nothing on probation. Why should I? Well, I don't want to say nothing. You've only done, if we were talking about numbers from 1 to 10, you're at number 1. Why haven't you completed the BIPP course?
Your Honor, I was like 22 classes out of 25 classes in, and I didn't show up for the 3rd time. It was hard for me to find a ride. That's when the things started getting escalated.
That's what Via Bus is for. Why do people have a problem with Via Bus? It's inexpensive. It gets you from point A to point B.
You're right, Your Honor. That was around the time when the stress escalated in my life with other unrelated things that I shouldn't have let got in my way.
What other unrelated things?
The fighting with my baby mother and
The mother of your
the
child.
mother of my children.
And maybe it's a good thing that she doesn't have you in your life because you have these criminal charges and they're drug charges.
Yes, ma'am. I was working really hard to make sure that it wouldn't be on my record, and I was really upset about the fact that I didn't complete my stuff. And when I realized that that was not going to be basically valid anymore, and I knew that the warrant had came out for my arrest, I just didn't.
You just ran.
I didn't care to come back and tell you or to fix it. I just let it go on until I got caught, and that was my big mistake too. And I'm very sorry for that, Your Honor. I'm begging for another chance.
Mr. Seeloff?
Just want to reiterate, Your Honor, his young age is 32. He appears to have beaten the drugs. And he wants just another chance, Your Honor, and keep it off his record so he can continue on for his twins.
Does he have an updated tab?
When's the last step you have? Evaluation for drugs.
I do not show a tap on what.
Did you ever have one?
All right, this is what the court is going to do. Court will find violation of condition number 1 true. The court will deny the motion. Alter and amend conditions to include a TAP evaluation while in custody. Follow TAP recommendations. If TAP recommends inpatient treatment, then he's going to be in inpatient treatment. If they recommend outpatient treatment, then he's going to go to ISF cognitive and substantive. Upon release, he's to do the UA hotline until further notice and parenting classes.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Probation, is there anything else?
Or do you mind repeating Okay, so for outpatient, you stated ISF substance and cognitive. So instead of the local Bear ISF, you want them to go to state?
Yes.
And can you repeat what you said after that?
Okay, so what I want to do is I want him to have a TAP evaluation while in custody. If the TAP evaluation recommends outpatient treatment, I want him to start with ISF cognitive and substantive. Then after being released from that, I'm going to want the UA hotline until further notice and parenting classes.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Is there anything else you need from the court?
No, Your Honor.
From here on out, every decision that you make, there are 2 questions you should ask. 1, will this potentially result in me going to prison for 10 years? If the answer is yes, don't do it. The second question you should ask yourself, is it possible or will this maybe result in me going to prison for 10 years? If the answer to that question is yes, don't do it. You understand?
Yes.
Your attorney will tell you, I do not take any pleasure in sending people to prison, but if it's warranted, I will. And if that happens in your case, guess what? You will go to prison and we will move on to the next person. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
So do not come back here begging me to give you another chance because this is your chance.
Thank you, Your Honor.
And if you have the mother of your children who does not want you in her life, which it appears to me on paper that it is justified, you need to stop trying to contact her. If you want to see your children, go next door to civil court and get a custody agreement. And guess what? When somebody leaves you, they have every right to pick up with somebody else. Nobody has to wait for you while you're at prison or at the county jail or on probation. This is not a Lifetime movie. This is not a love story. In the real world, when you're away and you're not stepping up to your responsibilities, people can leave you, and they do, and they move on to somebody else. You understand?
Fully agree. Yes, ma'am.
All right, good luck to you.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I'll take care of you.
All right, you entered a plea on June 5th to count 2 of guilty. The state waived count 1 without objection. According to the plea bargaining agreement, punishment is to be assessed at 3 years in the prison, and the state is opposing your application. Have both parties had a chance to review the PSI report, state,
Yes, Judge.
defense?
Yes, Judge.
All right, is there a reason you're up, sir? All right. Any objections to the PSI report, state,
No, Your Honor.
defense? All right, state, you're opposed, why?
Primarily due to the defendant's criminal history, specifically the ag assault deadly weapon charge that he had in the late 2000s. I believe he was charged 2007, and well, he was sentenced 2007 to 8 years. That was the state's primary concern.
All right, defense, do you have any witnesses?
I do, Judge. In addition to my client, I have a sister.
All right, if you'll call your witness.
I'll call her first. Her name is Annette Torres Espinoza.
All right, Annette Espinoza, if you'll come forward, please. But the truth will help you, God?
Yes.
All right, you can lower your hand. Make sure you keep your voice up so the court reporter can hear.
Okay,
Can you state your name for the record?
Annette Torres Espinoza.
All right, counsel?
Ms. Espinoza, are you Ricardo Torres' sister?
Yes, I'm his youngest sister.
And it's fair to say you've known him his entire life.
Yeah, he's my oldest brother.
And he's 66 years old.
Yes, sir.
You believe he has a drug problem?
He has had a drug problem way back many years ago. And just out of nowhere, I found out what happened. And I've been sick myself, so.
We'll get to that. With respect to your brother, has he expressed a desire to, I guess, get some treatment for his drug issues? Say it a
Yeah,
little louder.
yes,
And what has he told you specifically?
just that he will never touch it anymore in his life.
And do you think he would benefit from an outpatient type of a program to help him keep that monkey that's on his back?
Yes, sir.
Now, Mr. Espinoza is 66 years old. And
Torres, he's
Torres, thank you.
All right, everyone, make sure you only speak one at a time because the court reporter can't take down 2 people.
And although he's 66 years old, does he help you in your home?
Yes,
Can you tell the court how he's helping you and why he's helping you?
he's helping me right now because I was just diagnosed with breast cancer and uterine cancer. So with that being said, I am not married. I live alone with my 2 children, and he is a great part of helping out with a lot of things that I need, which is going to the grocery store, helping me at home. And when he's at my home, he knows that drugs are not allowed in my house. Neither is alcohol.
Is it fair to say that you're kind of providing him familial supervision of the sort?
Yes,
And you're trying to make sure that he stays on the straight path
yes, sir.
and without patient treatment, so that he can be successful in his
I-
efforts.
Yes, I am thinking that'll help.
Can you tell the judge what kind of person Ricardo Torres is?
Ricardo is a person very kind-hearted. Sometimes back in the past, drugs did get the best of him, but he has changed. I don't know what he was doing. I'm not with him every point of the day, but most of the time he is with me because we lived, not even a mile apart. So as far as cooking me meals when I'm on my medicine and I cannot get up and do things for myself, he's a big asset to me when it comes to that.
Don't ask.
All right, state.
Nothing from the state, Judge.
All right, how old are your children?
16 and 19.
All right. And do you have any brothers and sisters? I know you said he was your older brother.
Yes, I have other brothers and sisters that are married and they're gone.
All right.
Some live out of state.
All right, do you have any other sisters or brothers who live in Bear County?
Yes, I do.
No, how many?
I have two sisters that are living in Bear County, but we have no, once my mom and dad died, family just kind of
Spread.
spread out. And he's the only one that's really there most of the time.
All right. Thank you so much for coming in to testify.
Thank you.
All right, call your next witness.
Call my client. Judge, my client's hard of hearing, so I'm gonna have to kind of speak up.
Oh, no, the court reporter would appreciate that. Can you raise your right hand for me, please? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you can lower your hand. You may proceed.
Could you state your name, please?
Ricardo Torres.
And Mr. Torres, you're here today because you entered a guilty plea, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And then you did a pre-sentencing investigation. You recall that?
Yes, sir.
And on that pre-sentencing investigation, you'd indicated that you were just holding the drugs that they found in your shoe for somebody else.
It was mine.
Okay, well, hang on, let me ask you a question.
Oh, well, he said it was his ice.
Right,
Okay,
right. And that's where I was going, Judge.
all right, thank
You
you.
take full responsibility for having those drugs in your possession,
Yes, sir.
and you're asking the court to put you on probation so that you can do outpatient treatment,
Yes,
and you feel that you would benefit from that?
yes.
Why?
But I need some help. I think I can overcome this drug, because I was just using these drugs and wasn't really using my mind to do nothing. Just sitting at home, just carrying on like a lost person.
Do you understand how using drugs affects your ability to care for your sister who has cancer?
Yes, sir.
And is it a positive or a negative effect on your care for your sister?
No, it's not.
And because of that, you asked the court to grant your application.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. I'll pass.
Any questions?
No, Judge.
All right. So why were you stealing from HEB?
Just selling drugs, I guess. I just put it in my pocket and walked out.
Is there anything else?
No, Your Honor, I rest.
All right, court will hear argument. State.
Your Honor, the state's primary concern from the beginning has been his prior criminal history, specifically the assault of a weapon case that he was discharged from TBC in 2014. I do believe he has been revoked on probation previously, so that would be another concern of the state. So that's why we're opposing his application for probation.
All right, defense.
Judge, Mr. Torres is 66 years old. He talked to probation. He was honest with probation. He tried to minimize the drugs in his possession, but at the same time, he's here today telling the court that they were his, and that he's trying to take full responsibility for his actions back on that day. Based on his input and his discussions with the probation officer, they've recommended that he would benefit from outpatient, and we'd ask that you order him to outpatient and any other recommendations that the probation officer would have made, but please give him his application for probation so he can care for his sister.
All right, Mr. Torres, here's the issue the court is having. Your criminal history starts in 1977. And you have been on probation before. You were placed on probation in 1979. That probation was terminated. You were placed on probation in 1991. That probation was revoked. And I know since it was the 90s, if you had drug problems, people were trying to have you address those issues.
Yes, ma'am.
Then in 1986, you were given probation and it was revoked and you were paroled. And again, I know with parole, they still give you help for issues that you have. Then you had another case where you were sentenced to 8 years, and that's the aggravated assault that the state has brought to the court's attention. I'm going to deny your application, going to find you guilty, sentence you to 3 years in the prison, give you credit for any time served, and I'll request the therapeutic community for you. Therapeutic community will help you with any drug issues you have. It will not increase the length of time that you are on probation. Do you understand? Showing you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendants' Rights to Appeal. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you sign it? You need to say yes or no. Because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you need to speak to an attorney. Do you understand? That's either yes or no.
Yes.
All right, we can go off the record. Mr. Torres, you're getting into the part of the criminal field, I would say, or the legal system field, where now you will be marked as a habitual. So if you continue to pick up criminal cases, in some instances, your range of punishment could be up to 20 years, depending on if it's a state jail felony or not. And in some instances, if it's not a state jail facility, if you pick up another third-degree felony or second-degree felony, your minimum sentence is going to be 25 years because you're going to be a habitual. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you're going to have to do better. If you want to care for your sister, then you got to do what you need to do. And you can't come to court using your sister needing your help as a benefit to you. Do you understand? All right, good luck to you.
You sentenced me to 3 years.
Yes.